The Palladians and the Insectoids are attempting to carry out their secret coffee agenda. They need you caffeinated to make you easier to locate and harvest. The caffeine makes your blood vibrate. They use echolocation to track you. The more coffee you drink, the more you vibrate. How do you think they found me? So don't delay. Enter the code caffeine and receive 10% off your next order. Wait, we're selling coffee now?
Yes. No, maybe.
Okay, I guess we are. Ah!
Incredibly diversity.
Guys, look at the moon.
Speaking of Twitch's new guidelines, Twitch getting a little cover the girlies or else happy. This is censorship news. Microsoft publishes new inclusion guide for, is this censorship or is this just forcing another agenda in the thing? I don't know. Inclusion guide for video game devs recommends against creating female characters with exaggerated proportions. Why are we getting so puritanical, right? They're telling every woman who has an OnlyFans to cover up. There's a new trend where they go around covering up OnlyFans girls, and then they go and applaud Sydney Sweeney for wearing, nice low-cut tops that make her feel confident and beautiful as a woman, as a beautiful, attractive woman. So, with all of these diversity, inclusion, cover yourself up, everybody's offended by everything. How do you think that affects things? Well, Xbox massive layoffs. Is it a point A to B? No, it's not a clear point A to B. But this might be either a cause or part of the Band-Aid that the corporations are putting on everything. That they were hiring a lot of these lowest common denominator people about 10 years ago, 20 years ago even, because that's who shows up for the jobs. And we're taking out a lot of the creatives in the creative industries. We're corporatizing everything from films to video games. I've done a few videos on this already. And between that, Twitch making girlies cover up and not being allowed to just zoom in on their features, as it were. Xbox makes massive layoffs were the outcome of a concerning lack of industry growth. Well, why do you think that is? In addition to all of this stuff like Sweet Baby Inc.,
just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Saying, hey, we'll literally harass you if you don't use us to make sure these things are more inclusive, to the point of, you cutting budgets on making things fun and everything, to the point where you're so worried about making it offensive that it hurts the games, doesn't it? It hurts the gameplay, it hurts the sales of the games, it hurts the fan base and the community and the customer base, right? It hurts those people because why? We don't like being called every name under the sun when we want to throw money.
Shut up and take my money.
And then what do? We call people every name under the sun when, we find a group or a target to disagree with. It's that poisoning the well and the environment, right? Whose fault is that? Giant corporations, corporate greed, I think. That's the first one, because why? They start cutting corners. They start bending to, the woke mobs even. They start bending to the people on Twitter saying, I'm not a fan of, but I want to see this or that. So here we go. Microsoft's head of gaming says that the company's decision to cut 1,900 jobs is ultimately the result of a lack of growth in the industry. According to VideoGamesChronicle.com, News Xbox, blah. In January, they announced plans to lay off roughly 8% of the 22,000 people employed across Xbox, Bethesda, and Activision Blizzard. And the company completed its acquisition of Activision Blizzard in October of 2023. Okay, if you buy a company, you shouldn't be laying off people. That's another thing. I get really, really tired of companies like, hey, we're not doing too hot. Let's go and acquire another company that's not doing too hot. And now we'll both go under. Remember when Kmart bought Sears? Kmart bought Sears. Kmart wasn't doing too hot, and they bought Sears. What the hell are they thinking? Now they're both gone, practically. And now they're both gone. It's only been about a decade. So what do I see? I see a lot of this garbage. I see a lot of the Sweet Baby Inc. controversy. Here we go. Reflecting on the layoffs in a new interview. Well, it's all related, isn't it? It's that. It's the people are just tired. We're looking for any excuse we can to say, you know what? We're just not going to buy this. We have finite dollars, time on this planet. We learned during 2020 that, you know, sometimes we're prioritizing the wrong things. Hello. So the game dev, Farhan Noor, I can't pronounce your name, who has been tracking job cuts dating back to the start of 2022 on videogameslayoff.com, estimates that around 10,500 games industry employees were laid off last year. Oh-ho! So 10,000 people were laid off in the game industry. And less than 4 months into 2024, 8,000 planned jobs are already cut. Now, we keep seeing all these studios go under. What happened with Saints Row, which we're playing right now? They went under. This game comes out and it feels unfinished. It feels half empty. This world, there's no NPC background characters here or there. It feels like an alpha release. The enemies spawn in right on top of you. You have to go to the wiki to look things up. This feels like an unfinished game that was crapped out on a deadline, knowing that they were going to go under. And that's what everything on this planet is feeling like lately.
Buster makes me feel good.
He says here, I'll say the thing that has me most concerned for the industry is the lack of growth, Spencer said. And we have an industry that is projected to be smaller next year in terms of players and dollars. You get a lot of publicly traded companies that are in the industry that have to show their investors growth. Because why else does somebody own a share of someone's stock if it's not going to grow?
We're not doing anything. Come on, grow.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Here's the thing, though. Why are you going public with stocks in video game companies where you have a game and you can't guarantee the same return on investment in the next thing? Games are not a product to be mass produced at a definite end product, okay? And I think that's one of the problems. These games come out so formulaic. Look at the Assassin's Creed games coming out every single year. Does the woke stuff have anything to do with that? I don't think so. I got very bored of playing the exact same video game over and over again. How many of you guys play the exact same video game every year? The NBA games, the Madden games, they're the same video game that come out every year. And they expect us to shell out money every year for the same thing. And I think you get just burnt out on that. You get burnt out on these corporations crapping down your throat and expecting you to just keep paying. And I'm sorry if I've done that and made people say, you know what, enough of you. I'm sorry. I don't doubt I've done that. Yeah, the lack of growth. Of course, we're a business. I've said over and over, I don't get the luxury of not having to run a profitable, growing business inside of Microsoft. And we are that today, but just across the industry, you mentioned it, and sitting here at GDC, I reflect on friends of mine in the industry that have been displaced and lost their jobs. So is it the quote-unquote woke stuff, or is it all of this? Because this, to me, seeing a Bounding into Comics article, that just screams, oh, here's a little bit of extra publicity from people who are going to support the quote-unquote non-woke things and really not affect too much of the people who might boycott it otherwise. So this doesn't help or hurt, I don't think, one way or another. This just, generates some negative energy into the atmosphere, doesn't it? So yeah, doing their part to push the entire medium even further towards a final form as a pile of boring and uninspired mush, Microsoft has released a new product inclusion guide for video game developers, which, in addition to a number of other such recommendations aimed at appeasing the terminally online, notably suggests that creators completely abstain from depicting any, jiggly bits or anything that might be enticing to people. You know what? Some people get turned on by trees, Some people will be like, look at the tree, or look at the moon, and they'll think it's something else, right? I mean, look at the tree, look at the moon, look at the tree, look at the moon. And they won't know I hear gunshots in the background. What's going on? Am I needed? So yes, they want more accessibility for everything. They want to make them less fun, and they want more of this Saints Row stuff. I am Mecha. Don't you go anywhere. I'm going back to whatever this is. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!
incredibly diverse, diversity.
Diversity.
Guys, look at the moon.
Diverse.
Diversity.